for you to call, try this gentleman over here,
Right.
or, referral, or, But, yeah, everyone pretty much, I met some wonderful people who, just, you need a place to stay, you need a job, you need, let me help you out. I was like, okay, strangers, just helping along the way. It was wonderful energy. Wonderful energy, and you take that and you just pass it on to
Right, and it's great.
My
It's
brother's.
great. But and things used to work, and in the '60s, really things worked that way a lot.
We had a good network.
I don't know
in New York in the 80s.
How old are you?
44.
You're 44,
yeah.
so you weren't real hot in the '60s. Yeah.
But we had a good network in the 80s in New York, but we had the coalition going, and we had a good group of people. And when people came in, we knew who to call. You need a job, you need help, And even in Boone, there was a strong network when I first moved there.
And you were where in New York?
I was in Staten Island.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when I moved to Boone, there was that same network where, pretty much if you needed a place, there was someone who you can call, could put you up and say you got a job.
I wish I'd known you when I was in New York.
So what about your brother?
It was
my brothers are
There was
twins.
a gentleman called Tom
And
Taft.
they took
And he's
like a
an
trip
icon,
around the United
and
States
he's up
back
in
in
I've
late
never
70s.
seen that UNC. He's up in New
They had a
England.
friend, a little Rambler
New England
car.
University. I forgot. But anyway,
A Nash
he was
Rambler.
a master organizer.
Something like that.
He had a band.
And,
That's what
they were
Ramblers
going-
and Nashes.
They were going 5-6
We rented a
months.
flatbed
Just
once and drove it through New York
drove.
City.
They'd stop
And
at people's
As a stage.
and
the
people
stage, yeah.
go where they
He was-
were
he was-
and
If there was an
and
ordinance
work
that
for 'em
said
a
you
little
couldn't
bit,
do
just
that,
kinda
he
like they
would,
drove all over
he
the place.
organized the Rock Coalition.
camped
Just
out.
had the adventure.
Camped
of
out.
it
Crazy.
all.
Yeah.
We
Real-
put on
Stay with
on
friends.
many concerts on the
his
back
house,
of a
his
flatbed.
house was the place where you went. He
How old
was
were they?
caretaking this house for maybe
think they
15
were in their-
years,
Mhm.
And if you came to
24,
stand on, you were a
yeah.
musician, whatever,
They're a little bit older.
first
than I am.
stop, and then you'd find
When I
a
was like
place,
8
and,
years old,
Tom was a
I
good
went to
good-
UNC
dude,
Charlotte.
yeah.
When I was 8
That's
years
where
old,
our
I
culture really
yeah,
comes from.
stowed away
You know
in
what
their
I'm saying?
car.
That's the thing.
I think so.
They didn't know where I was.
It's not
They
the
had a whole bunch
corporate.
of
The
junk in their
corporate
car,
world
so I
does not
stowed away
feed
in the
our
back
soul.
seat.
You know
We
what
got
I mean?
half
No,
way
It's
down.
that. It's
I think
that
they got
kind
down
of
to
world,
the
world
floor.
that feeds our soul.
And I popped up and said, "Are we there yet?"
So.
Oh, they were angry because I wanted
Some
to.
more.
Yeah, I think from
It
the
looked like they were
little
having fun
pot
at UNC
is
Charlotte.
up again.
I'm sure they were having fun.
They were in some
Pouring
kind of
around
thing
make
called
other
the
people
Mother
have it
Dome.
too.
They're the original mothers.
That's
or
enough. Well,
The Mother Dome.
The Mother Dome.
We had in the restaurant business, we had this one apartment we had passed down
party
between,
thing, I think.
maybe 10 or
Joe?
12 people. No, thank you. And
JJ?
that was the place
in New
where you-
York.
Yeah, when you
they'll
worked,
they'll pass apartments down in New York
when
now.
when you worked at this restaurant, there was always one key person who was there 3 years or so that
Right.
would pass the lease on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They were really
That was
Or
where
sometimes the same person would keep the lease. They may actually be out of the country, but
They had to come
they
all
would,
the way back out.
but
But
they
that
would
was a
keep the
central
lease.
place, that
Yeah.
restaurant
From
family
now
that
from
was
then on,
there,
they're like
you know,
always
when you
like
first
checking
looking for a job and you
everything.
had to stay, that's
Where
where
is he?
One
gotta
time,
have
one
Cutting into
time,
their partying time.
we had a party
Yeah.
there, and
Basically.
with the assistant manager was invited, Ronnie Mamando, and
Mm-hmm.
he walks in, and he says, he's
I've
noticing,
only
he's
ever
saying,
lived in college towns my whole life.
these barrel
You have or you
tables,
haven't?
Half.
You have.
they're beef,
That's
they're
not really
beefsteak
college.
trolley tables,
This isn't
and we're serving
It's
these
not.
plates.
It could be.
Oh,
It
it's
could.
well, you know,
be.
What's
Just
that?
fine.
town.
It's primarily a
It's
tourist
huge.
town.
GCA.
What?
But it was like,
GCA.
not one person stole the stuff at once. It's 10 people, 15 people
From
living in
all from the same
Yeah.
restaurant.
hanging from the ceiling. One of the boats from,
Okay, the tourist
he's
influence
looking at
is
the
more
knives,
powerful than the
and,
college
and the
influence.
whole apartment was
Yeah.
furnished
Yeah.
by the restaurant.
No doubt.
Piece by
More of
piece
a-
by
it's-
different
But it'd take
people.
them 10 years to do it.
Yeah.
I
And
believe that.
he walked out, he was like,
I'm sure
Yeah.
of it.
It's
It's like an extension.
I remember Ronnie was just
But
like,
everybody had worked there, right?
everyone worked there,
So-
yeah, and everyone who lived in that
Tartu
apartment,
is a
you know,
college town.
took a picture home, took
Because
a
the
letter.
University of Tartu is like the main
I'll tell you a story, and see,
University
because you've
closes down
been
for the
you've
summer.
been up there, and you'll believe
The whole town
this,
just
you'll
kinda
understand.
falls asleep.
I fell in with
Well,
with
Nashville's kind of
a
a
group
college
of
town,
folk
too.
musicians
Nashville,
in
Tennessee?
Greenwich Village.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think if
And
Nashville is
You see,
mostly
this would have been
Music,
in
well, yeah, but I mean,
the
yeah.
80s.
But
And,
it started out being mostly a college town.
but
many
they had
years
been
ago.
there.
Like,
They've been
University of
established
Tartu
Yeah.
started
in the village in a long time, and maybe you know some of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do
By
you
the
know
King of
many of
Sweden.
that crowd?
You said some names, I might have passed through them, but I wasn't.
Yeah, it's real. I'm
Even
real hard
when
on
I
names. Let me
lived
see if
in
I
a
can
small
do-
town in Iowa, I lived in a
We
college
had,
I
town.
can't say them right now.
Closest people to the
Maharishi
village
International
that I
University.
knew was there was this woman Jennifer Blowjar
Maharishi
who had
Mahesh
a
Yogi.
newspaper.
That's him.
And she'd go back and forth. We'd go back from Baltimore to Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And
My
have the poetry
stepfather
slams and play
and my
that
mom and
kind of thing.
stepfather.
That's really the only
Huh?
key person.
Sexy
And
Sadie.
she was the editor
Sex-
of
what?
Sexy
I forgot.
Sadie.
Who's Sexy Sadie?
periodical.
That's the
of,
guy.
Poetry
Huh?
and
John
arts.
Lennon wrote the song about him.
Oh.
So that's the only
Really?
person
Well,
I know,
anyway,
yeah.
when I fell in with this group of
Well, yeah, my
folk
stepfather and mom, like late
people
70s, were
in-
very
in
into
the village.
TM, so.
and at one point I wound up in a.
I remember
in
the thing
an
that stands out
apartment,
for me,
and it was
Fairfield,
like one
was
of these
architecturally, and
subterranean
I've come
Yeah.
across references to them
was
from time to time.
honestly
the big domes,
legally not
Yeah.
built big
supposed to be
golden
inhabited,
domes
Right.
to meditate in.
but it was. And
In small town
had
Iowa,
been
there's
for a
a
long
couple
time,
big
and it
golden
had been
domes
passed
that everybody
like
gets together
that.
and meditates in.
within the same group,
And I
actually, the
thought those
person
were
whose
so
name it
cool
was
when I was a
in
kid.
at that time
Because
was not even in the country.
Right.
They were pretty big
I'm sitting
anyway,
there,
but as a little kid, these things were
And there's
giant.
a
And
guitar,
the entire
you know,
floors
in the
of
room
the thing were laid out
that
with foam,
is
so everybody can
it's
sit
just sort of the
cross-legged.
guitar that
So
everybody
for, you know, a
plays
little
on, stuff
me,
like that.
you know,
And while
when
I'm
I
kind
could
of
get in these
observing,
things and people
you know,
weren't
my
meditating, was
environment and stuff like that, I find a photograph in a frame on the
The
table
Golden Dome.
of,
Yeah.
of
I loved
The
it.
Golden Child.
Bob Dylan in the
I know
early
this place,
days, sitting
out
in this
In
same
the
room
woods out Black
with
Mountain,
this
there's
guitar
like a prayer tower,
picking
and there's
Yeah.
these
on
big
it,
hands
and you
that are wrapping around
you
the
could then
tower.
and you could really see
It's really cool.
Yeah.
then
It's big-
how long this
two big
apartment
hands.
had been
And in
I've
that
driven-
family.
in that.
And I actually mentioned this in the
Exactly.
in the blog entry that I have
And-
about
and-
Yeah, they
just
exist. They're
weird things about
pretty much just,
Asheville.
like I said,
Yeah.
they passed the wand on. And,
Have you
know,
noticed that driving from Black
and
Mountain
people know when they pass
into
the wand on,
Montreat,
they're
as
like,
you
you know,
pass
get married
through
or going on
that
to
stone
that next
archway, the
thing. Here you
energy
go,
changes?
Uh,
Have you felt that?
I'll never forget
It was
Ron
late at
saying,
Is
night.
it on 40 or off 40?
This
It's not
This was-
on
this is
40.
the
It's
booth.
like
Is it on 70?
There's a whole
it's not on
freaking
a
booth.
highway. You're driving in Black Mountain.
But when the restaurant
Yeah,
got
and you
renovated,
drive
they threw
from
things
Black
out,
Mountain
and
into
Wade said,
Montreat,
well,
like
I'll
there's
take
a
that.
stone
We need
archway or
furniture.
something
You know,
like that.
Please, I'm so happy you
And-
came. Do not get out of here without
Well,
we
I
exchange
know what you're
numbers.
It gets
talking
creepier.
Drag a chair
No, it
around
gets
here.
peaceful
Join
here.
us somehow.
For me, it's
For me,
peaceful.
it was
What does
creepy.
that do?
Huh?
It's
Are we on
peaceful.
seven?
It's very,
Yeah,
very
probably.
creepy. Huh?
It's
Probably
peaceful.
somebody's bags in this chair.
Well, just
Well,
sit,
just-
sit
Oh, you got
Throw it
1
on the
minute.
floor.
yeah, don't throw it. It's
It's
my
very
computer.
Oh, you guys are going till 7?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, they're going till 7. Well,
Well, I am gonna
Sorry.
call it quits at
okay.
6.
Tom
That's
Tapp
it.
was like that in that house, the music house, and we
Uh-huh.
had jams 3-4 days long, and people would come and play, and he had the band in the basement.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. And the best music never got recorded,
They
and
only
it's
sit still
it's
for
something.
1
There's something magic about, and I have tried and I have tried.
I
I've
need
tried
to go
putting a
get some
mobile
tapes
unit
for the
together.
show.
I've tried doing everything I can
That's fine,
because
man.
really
Okay.
in the
Well,
60s,
you know what? I'm
I
going
heard all
to.
kinds of great music and stuff,
You going
and I
to?
saw so much music go
Actually-
down that was so good that didn't get recorded that I
talk to
that
John
for
about
10 or
Saturday.
20 years
Are you
I
a
tried
boxer,
to keep
or are you a
mobile
boxing
recording
fan?
stuff together
Martial
so that
arts.
I could record that stuff and all.
So
but
that's
it
what they do at
doesn't
the
work
boxing
that
gym,
way.
too.
But they,
You put, when you get the
yeah, but
microphones
they
put
do
out
mixed
and stuff
martial
like
arts.
that, it's
Which is
very
boxing and
elusive
stuff like
to
that,
catch
where I
that
go.
magic. That
I
magic.
record
Yeah,
everything,
it's more,
and we did.
Freudian,
I'll show you some of the.
jiu-jitsu.
Uh-huh.
I was
What
fortunate.
you
I was
understand what
I was
I'm saying?
fortunate enough to be part of a group
Bye.
that
Bye.
You leaving us?
I'm leaving. Bye.
Tell Jen to let us go till 7.
Yeah, she said we could go to 7.
Okay, well, I'll wander out there and pass a message, but then I just want to talk to you real quick.
Do you want to plug your show one more time before you go? Okay.
when we were recording, we do. Slim Fats, who we were recording with, we had a group of our
I
musicians,
heard your sound
flautists,
system was great yesterday.
you know, great
It worked out really
percussionists,
good.
all kinds of different
It worked out
cellists, all
wonderfully.
different kinds
John's
of
gonna give
instruments,
us
right?
some-
But none of us
a
knew
sound,
what his
class.
arrangements were
I
until we came into the
watched the whole
studio.
show until
And
I had to leave.
I gotta make
really?
a DVD
I
of you or
enjoyed all the
CD of all
stories
the
and
studio
everything.
takes from '87
stories
to
of the-
'91,
Him
and they are
what,
all everything that came out of that studio was
where
never.
was
The
that? Where was
Psycho
that?
Magnet.
Psycho
Yeah.
Magnet.
You gonna make me a
All the
copy?
people
Yeah, I'll make a
semi
copy.
circles
No,
around
no,
it.
yeah, I'll make a copy of the
famous.
radio for you too.
You know I
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd thought that was good.
Phenomenal music.
I like the one
and,
where it wasn't the light,
like
it
you
was
said,
the power
that-
behind the light.
You were watching
I
the
watched
show.
the
Did
whole
you hear us
show.
talk about you?
Yeah, I did. And you can change that from he said to he did because I got it ordered this morning and it should be here Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, now listen here. Have you met this guy?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Joe, nice to
Randy.
meet you.
Nice to meet
Randy.
you.
Randy.
And Randy we met last week, but I'm dating.
Randy is my new favorite student. I don't know. You said you learned something, however, in my class. Because I said, did you learn something? You went, yeah. What did you learn? I'm curious. Because it seems like, you've been around a little bit. You do pretty good with that stuff. You're fairly technically
You know why I
oriented.
can't remember what it was.
He was sucking up to
I
you.
might have just been saying that just to make you feel good. I don't know. No,
Sucking up to
I
you,
know there was
boy.
something I learned, and I just can't.
Well, tell me this. Okay, now, and you can tell the truth. Either way, on that, would you recommend the class?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's
most
the important
informative
question
class.
to ask.
Yeah, that was the most informative class I've ever been to. You're
Oh,
right.
now say that again.
It was
Say
the
that.
most informative class I've ever been to.
Which class?
Oh, that would be my class.
That was
is
his
talking-
class, folks. Come on
I'm
down
gonna
here.
Hell,
take it the next
And,
time.
and,
That's
thi-
the studio
and, this,
class.
and this
huh?
guy is good. He's not a dummy. He's
know.
technically oriented. Could
Yeah,
you tell?
I know.
He
Well, I
put
was
on the
gonna
show
say-
yesterday, and what a job you
I
did.
just passed it on, go until 7.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And Saturday.
Yes.
About doing live show on Saturday. Is that
Here, about me or you? What are you talking about? You're gonna do one, right?
Yeah, not necessarily this Saturday
Okay.
because we're going to try and get our Mountain Express interview in this weekend.
I have to deliver mulch on Saturday. So.
There's a live
Okay.
show.
Okay, go ahead. What? Is this coming back from Jen or is it or
No, this is this. I just want to talk to you
Okay.
about this real quick.
Well, go ahead,
and
do
I'm
it.
going to step in.
because we have time. We have time.
I'm in the camera shot.
All right. Now what? Now what can I?
Somebody mentioned to me that you discussed the idea of coming in here, maybe you doing a little bit of time on Saturday, or is that something you desperately want to avoid because you're doing too much live TV already?
No, it's not something. It is. It was I mentioned it.
Okay, and then like when we're
Bye.
done, we come in here and just kind of
Goodbye,
keep
Asheville.
it rolling.
Yeah, I didn't know what hours. What were your hours going to look like? I didn't know whether I was going to try to go before you or after you. See
I
what
was
mean?
thinking our usual wrap-up time is about 4 o'clock, but
Okay.
I don't want to go.
And if you went, if you started at what time would you
I
start?
was thinking starting at 5 actually,
Alright, 5
just
till-
so there's a margin of error between getting done there and coming in here.
See,
5
Asheville,
till-
that's how you
5
do.
I am. Oh, we're back.
We're
on.
back. We're back. Okay, as I was
All
saying,
right.
Asheville.
Why? Who
See,
did
they're
that?
discussing doing a
When
show.
did you notice that? Just when you
Just a
tapped
minute. Yeah,
Me? Was it on just before that?
it was just a couple, about 10 seconds.
Was that censorship?
That's how you do a show. You get together,
Did you do that? Did you do that?
We got an
talk
official
about
oops.
it, and you too can do a show on URTV, and you can become a producer.
Think of your
And
intensive
it's
care.
not hard.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Even a psychomagnet can do it.
So keep telling them
That's
about
like
being a
intensive
producer.
care
Did you
for
do
you.
that? Did you do that?
She did it. Like I don't hear the beep anymore.
I forgot what day it was. Here I am scheduling things. I totally forgot what day it was. I thought today was Friday, and I was like, oh my god, Asheville Global Report.
No, let us go till.
Yeah. You want to go to 7? Okay, okie doke.
So are you going to go 5 to 6?
So are you going to do
People
another
are
show, or are you
Yes.
just doing the political show?
Oh,
Just
I'm
5
going to do
till
some other
6?
shows.
'Cause
I've
if you
got
go
some
5
things
till
in the
6,
works.
I might would go.
I'm trying to get together
6
with
to 7.
some
Okay.
people
That works.
around the county and do a show.
Or should I
kind
do
of.
3 to 5.
I'm kind of debating on the name. Maybe call it
Leave that to you.
Inside Buncombe County or something like that, and just do things
Yeah,
like behind the
I'll
scenes
I'll
of
try
the
to,
DOC,
I'll try
the
to do 3 to
911.
5, but
You know,
not
ride with
this
the
week.
sheriff department if
because I
they'll
have to
allow me.
deliver
Ride with the
mulch.
police department if they'll allow me.
Okay.
I'm still working
So
on
it
some of
won't,
that.
it won't take effect till next
Uh,
week. I'll just work
You
it
know,
out
and,
with Jim.
and,
You
and
just
try to
go
go
ahead.
into the
You go ahead and
911,
pin
maybe
down
try
your
to go into the health
spot,
department, just
and
different things
I'll
around Buncombe
and I'll
County to
probably
show people
do
how things in Buncombe County work.
an hour or 2
You know, maybe even
before
ride
you.
with the garbage collector
And
or
then
something.
just
I don't know.
give
You know,
you-
just
And the
just-
recycling.
Can I give
yeah,
you
the
this
recyclers and
room
everything.
as
Just
is, or
try to
does it need
show.
to be different for you?
It's fine.
people,
Okay.
you know, and maybe I'll get some feedback, and
Might
maybe
turn
people
the
will say,
table
well,
around
you
or
know,
something.
I like you riding with the sheriff's department.
Just
Maybe
like
they'll allow
that.
me, I can ride with them all the time. I don't know, you know, but
Excellent.
something like that. I
Okay.
don't know, but we're in the works of that.
Let's
and
just
some other shows too.
let's just get it going on. And
Yeah.
and the show yesterday got rave reviews. I didn't watch it all because I had errands to run and all, but I watched a bit of it. You know, there at the beginning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My neighbor has taken to watching it. She originally started watching it because I was on it, but she watches it even when I'm not on now. And she was telling me about it this afternoon.
She liked it, didn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Made an impact.
Yeah. Good work. Aren't you thrilled?
Yeah, I am.
You're getting good results from the show. I am too. I'm pleased. I will admit that I had some reservations, particularly with Don's pretty out there.
Yeah.
And as you know, he was opposed to us from the beginning. You know, he seems
To
to be-
URTV or the Tea Party?
No, to public access television and
Yeah,
tech.
concept of public access.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now he's just about one of the first pigs to the trough, ain't you, Don?
Yeah,
I
so
love
there.
this.
So there.
Yeah.
People making their own.
Well, he found-
by the seat of your pants TV. It's great.
He's finding out, like what a lot of other people are finding out, is that we're for real.
Yeah.
We're not censoring you. That's not our job. Our job is not here to censor and to do, like, as you know, to persuade people of anything or anything like that. My job when I do my show, I do it as I would have it, as he does as he would have it. But although he and I may not agree on certain matters, I am just absolutely thrilled to see his show come along as well as it did. It's kind of funny. I know that y'all are probably anxious to move into the big studio, because it is kind of funny seeing him jam all those people in this little space.
It's a big jam.
Didn't you think?
But we'd like to, you know, we talked about it yesterday, and we thought, well, keeping it on Wednesday night might be the best thing if we can. And so we're content with being in here now that we got, you know, we can do a couple cameras, 3 or 4 cameras, and it just got a little hot in here, so we got to try to figure out a way to remedy that.
A
Yeah, well,
little
you know,
fan
we need
would
a
go
nice
long
little
way.
circulating fan. I'm going to see
Yeah,
what I've got
But you
at the
need
house.
something that doesn't make much
Doesn't make
noise.
much noise, and it needs to be plugged on a circuit that's not going to be with the same, and I don't know how we would do that, because typically you plug a fan in on the same one that you got your sound audio, and sometimes you'll get a hum.
You might get a little buzz there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I'm calling it
so it
evening.
may just be as simple as running a drop cord from like the hallway.
Well, see, and there's another outlet
Well,
up there.
okay,
There's some outlets up there.
I'm guessing that these lights will be on a different circuit
Okay.
breaker, at least.
As long as they're
It's-
not in the same wiring.
It
It
well,
should be.
they're going to wind up. It's nice if you can come off a different leg of
Yeah.
the transformer.
But
So,
I'm going
I mean-
to try to put together maybe something
Yeah,
that
that
works with a
inductance.
computer fan, and maybe come up with a way to run it on a 12-volt circuitry by making a transformer and plugging it in the wall, and see if that won't work. Because if we can just get little fans that just kind of
Blow.
sit behind people and blow up on them, and then one that blows on me back there.
Did you
I
get
think
too
we'll
hot?
be fine. It was pretty hot. It was pretty hot. I would
How-
imagine it
were
was.
you were you wore out when it was all over? Did it work you hard?
I was worn out. I was slap worn out. We went till 7:30 instead of 6:30, and because they didn't have any programming, and I had already run the credits, and then I
and then
noticed
came back
that
on.
the website address was still on the channel, and I said, well, why is it Jonathan changed this? And Jen come in here and said, well, you're running until 7:30, and so we said,
She
okay.
just, no, dude, you got to watch that. You got to watch that, and sometimes you got to put your foot down on that.
No, it was fine. It was
Because
fine.
but she'll do that on you. She'll
Hey, she
throw
does get
she'll
on
throw
TV sometimes,
she'll
doesn't she?
throw an extra half hour on you
My
or
wife
more.
heard her a little while ago,
and-
and I said, that's Jen. And she said, well, who is she? And I said, well, she'll never get on
Jen.
camera.
It's
But-
not that I'm shy.
She'll
it's
throw
just
an
I
extra
have
half
work to
hour
do.
on you, and without
She's a working
without
girl.
warning, like you'll be coming
can't
into
get
your
to this
last
stuff.
10 minutes, and all of a sudden you find out you got an extra 30, and it'll go that way sometimes.
It was
But-
fine though. It really was. But I tell you what, I had a major headache from the heat,
Yeah.
and I was just slap dead when I got home. And I
It
just
tires you
Well, you
out.
did a
There's
good
a lot of
job.
concentration.
You did a
But-
good job, but you were being the whole crew.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my youngest son, volunteered next week to run the cameras, because next week it'll be both my cameras in here.
Oh yeah.
And he loves running the cameras. He's going on 12 this July the 4th,
Mhm.
and he loves it. And he's volunteering. I told him, I said, now you'll be up there 2.5 hours.
Mm.
And he says, well, I think I'll be all right.
Mhm.
So we're going to try that if I can convince him that night, Wednesday night, to come, we're going to try that and see if that won't help a little bit. But what really wore me out was I was going to have one fixed camera with a wide shot like we got now, and I was going to use my camera
So the
just to zoom.
close-ups, yeah.
But I decided that I could do a lot better by zooming both of them. So I got to where I was zooming both of them in,
yeah.
and I was switching back and forth. And we had a husband and a wife, a husband over here and a wife over here, and I was switching back and forth between the two while they were talking.
You were trying to do just a little
I was trying to do a little too much,
yeah.
and then I was doing things like when the lady was talking, there was a picture of her
Hey!
son.
Come
There was a
in.
picture of
Grab
her son on the
great,
table.
run over there and grab a cup for some tea.
And so I wanted to experiment with the picture-in-picture. So I took one camera and I zoomed in on her son's picture.
And let me sit you in this one, yeah.
And
Let me sit you on this side.
I zoomed in on her son's picture and I put it beside her while she was talking about her son. So his picture was beside her. And that
That's
worked out
good.
really
That's
well.
good.
And then I started doing that with the phone number. I took the camera and zoomed in on the phone number, and I was putting the phone number at the bottom of everybody, using picture-in-picture. And it all worked out really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that switcher. That switcher worked out very well.
Okay. But you've not done chroma key yet with it.
I haven't done chroma key.
Does it do also a title crawl or not?
It doesn't do any titling or anything like that. I was just doing picture-in-picture to show the
Okay.
phone number at the bottom.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was one of the lesser expensive ones. They had another one that was pretty close to $1,000.
What is the brand of that? Will you write that down for
It
me?
was a Sima, S-I-M-A, I think it is, or S-I-M-M-A. But it was Sima.
You don't have it with you in the car
I
or
don't
something?
have it with me today. No.
Okay.
It's
I don't
a
have.
bit
Oh
too
yeah.
much to carry around.
Would you do me? Do you happen to remember its model number and stuff?
No, I sure don't. I can call you with that.
Because
We
I can
exchange
look. I
phone
can look
numbers.
some stuff up. Yeah.
Or
Here,
I
you
can,
see that brochure over there? Write it. If you would
This?
write it down. Whatever you do know about it.
This?
Here, right on this.
I
It's
just
a-
No, let it write on
I
that.
just know that it's a.
gonna mess up your teeth.
I'm going to say that it's just a SIMA, Sima.
Okay.
And I'm going to. You want me to sneak my phone number on here as well?
Your name and phone number.
Okay. Surely you'll remember me.
No. You don't know my.
Well, you did
my,
today. That was
my,
pretty
my
good.
memory is my memory is bad, really, really bad. And don't be insulted, please. I've been beat in the head with a hammer, and it wasn't very good
I
to
heard
start
that.
with.
Let's not show that to the camera.
Okay. That's 252.
8675309. Some lady had that phone number I heard, and I guess it was a real lady that knew the guy that wrote the song.
Oh, really?
And
She had to change her
I
phone
think
number.
she ended up getting. I seen that on one of them TV shows one time. She ended up getting thousands of phone calls after that song came
Oh
out.
gosh.
Okay, now what? Did you get a clean cup or anything? Did you?
I don't care for any tea. I'm not a big hot tea drinker. I drink my tea cold.
We
and
might could
sweet.
change you.
But
We might could convert you.
well,
Or we could
I
throw
really
some
not.
ice in the tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is rather mild right now, as you see. It's not
Yeah.
as
Yeah, that's all right.
as potent as it has
But
been upon.
have you hooked up the video switcher for this room yet?
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
He has one that he got, which was relatively inexpensive.
Very.
I mean, to be honest with you, the ones that I've been looking at, are a bit better than what you're looking.
Exactly,
You
yeah,
got there,
yeah.
but they're more like in the $4,000 and $5,000
Exactly, yeah,
range.
yeah.
Now I asked around and see what did other people think about that. Did they think that the quality was good enough for this room? And so far, everybody has said they think so. I'm going to ask each of the staff members, and if
Did
they
most
all,
of them see it switching back and forth? Did most of them see me switching back and
I
forth?
think everybody got a
I
look
did.
at it.
I played around with some of the effects. I did some swipes, and I did some things where it kind of faded, it rolled out, and I just wanted to see some different things on the actual TV. But mostly, I just did a mix, what they call a mix, and it just kind of fades from one thing. to
I
the
really
next.
feel that it's semi-pro at best,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's so darn cheap, and putting the room together for like a really
Yeah.
for really cheap. You're not going to let us have the mixer, are you? I mean the switcher,
No,
switcher.
I'm
You're
gonna
just
keep
going
that
to, but you're going to get
because,
us a. You're getting us a mixer.
I've already got it.
You've
yeah.
already
It's
ordered us a mixer.
Should be shipped today, I guess. Yeah.
Well, the mixer was a huge success because
really was.
did you hear what people said about
I
the sound?
heard what people said about the sound.
They
I've
said
heard
it
it.
was
Yeah.
perfect.
What sound?
My wife.
Yes,
They did
his
a
show
live
yesterday was
a
perfect.
live show that he
His
used
audio
some of
was
his
perfect
equipment.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and I really feel like
And
the
turned
mixer
out real
made the
well.
biggest
Yeah.
part of the
He put
difference on
problems
that.
on mixer.
Your mics were fine too, but I don't think those are real expensive mics. I'm
They
assuming.
wasn't that expensive, about $39 a piece.
Right. So
What kind of
so
mixer?
a Behringer,
Okay.
little Behringer,
Yeah.
but a nice little Behringer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think? Don't you feel good about that mixer?
That's for the price. That's one of the best mixers I've ever seen.
Isn't
I'm
it?
glad you showed that to me.
It's incredible,
I've been around
isn't it?
sound a long time. I was a sound mixer for a lot of bands,
Uh-huh.
and we paid upwards to thousands of dollars for bigger mixers,
Uh-huh.
and that thing does the exact same thing for $169.
Right. And how did you think? How did you like the quality
The
of it?
quality was awesome.
It
The
was, wasn't
quality was really good.
Right. And
You
you got
A
you got
and B it with a Mackie. Can you tell the difference?
If you can, the first A and B with a Mackie you do is the Mackie's going to be 3 times the money at least.
Okay.
So let us A B that, and then let me A B your ears and
See if you can tell the difference.
and it'd be my bet that you would be hard pressed.
I don't think you could tell a difference. I know it's. I don't think you
You
can tell
know.
a difference.
Okay.
Now,
I really
now if we put it on the oscilloscope and we
Uh-huh.
ran it through its specs real hard, I would highly suspect that you would not find as much as 3 dB difference anywhere in the spec. That would be my guess.
Sounds good.
It's a good mixer.
Mhm.
Well, it'll be here next week for the station.
Yeah.
Or I call us a station. We're not a station.
And for like roughly a quarter of the price. It's just you know, and it'll put us 4 microphones in this room, and the preamps are nice and quiet, I think,
They really are. It actually.
and broadband and flat.
Yeah, it'll actually do 12 inputs, but you get out of XLR once you go past 4. You start going into stereo plugs.
Right,
That's
and
a
what
5,
we
6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
and what we should have but what we really probably should have done is where you were coming out of that camera with a mini plug, a little. I guess you were using a stereo mini plug. Is that what you were coming out
I
with?
did. I fixed that today. The hum was coming because of the preamp in the camera because I was using the headphone jack.
Uh-huh.
Today I plugged it into the channel 1 and channel 2
Out, and it was quiet,
which is not preamped.
and took it right
And
straight
took
into
it
a
right
line
straight
input.
into a lineup, and
Right.
it had 0 hum.
Well, that's what I was going to
Is
tell.
this
That's
what
exactly
we're going to
what
learn in the sound class? Because what y'all are talking about is so arcane to me.
we will probably touch this.
So I'm
will
like,
you be,
what
will
are they
you be
talking
taking my
about?
sound class?
I'll take any class you teach,
Okay, I'm getting ready to teach audio for
as long as it
video.
doesn't interfere with tonight's class. I mean, because
No.
we still got 3 weeks of
Right,
tonight's
right.
class.
It's going to be called audio for video,
Audio for video.
and that'll be great because I mean audio is really my thing. Hey,
Left yet?
step in one more. You were one step. You have a tendency to be on the edge of the camera.
I know. May I just sort of like make a quick announcement?
Yes.
Okay. Mount Dungeon has decided that we need a 3rd full-time cameraman. So just sort of making mention of it that if there's somebody that's a member that's qualified that would like to be a camera person for Mount Dungeon, then by all means let us know. And we're less interested in a lot of hands-on camera experience, more interested in overall technical competence, being easy to work with, and being available on Saturdays 1 to 4. Most important thing.
All right, and you're looking for someone who is studio certified,
Yes.
right? And was willing to put in a couple of hours on Saturdays.
Yes.
To come in and film local rock and roll bands.
Yes.
Everybody has a good time. Is your show fun?
Our show is fun.
Okay. All right.
When things aren't going wrong.
And if they want to do this, what do? Do they call you? Do they just show up this Saturday? What's the story?
Well, that's a very good question. What's the best way to contact? If somebody's interested,
They would be a member.
go ahead. Yes, I'll give out my email address.
Are you on our back page on the?
Not at the moment.
website, are
I'm
you?
just at the moment asking.
please
yeah,
get
well,
on.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just sort of asking around if anybody would be interested.
Show up.
Well, anybody who wants to show up and watch Mountain Dungeon in action as we do our thing on Saturday, by all means, we're open door. In fact, we are trying at this point to get a studio audience. So
Oh,
we'd
right.
like
Okay.
people to show up and watch from 1 to 4 because.
And you can just pull someone right out of the studio audience and put them behind a camera if they're a member that, and if they're
Yes.
studio certified. You know what I'm doing is I'm making y'all go through studio certification before I give you the big studio to do your show in, which is, well, you've got Dr. Dick. I think he's done the certification, hasn't he?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'll just have to check on that. But anyway,
But
I think
yeah.
so.
But now it'll interfere with AGR if we stay on Wednesday night. They film their show from 4 until 6.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think we're just pretty much going to be stuck in here. But that's fine. I mean, if we can get the air
Well,
quality better.
they may be able to shift. I don't know. They may be resistive to it. You know, they may be able to shift. However, the way the rules are, they got rules around here. The way the rules are, you may find that live programming can bump them if you wanted to get real picky on it. Now, I think it's better to work with people and do what everybody's comfortable with,
I
rather
don't want to
than
bump them. They've been here longer than we have.
they have, and they do a great job. Their show
I've only
looks
been a
good.
member since February, so.
But your show is really going to look good. I mean, you came on with a classy intro that you made at home.
Yeah.
And when I told you, I don't know if you heard this part with Jonathan, but I told Jonathan said, "How did they make that intro? How did they do that?" And I said he had that in his camera on the mini DV tape. And I said, that's why when you were telling me it's just black, and I went in there and I said it's just black, he said it's the thing, and okay, and I ran back and I said, just turn it on. You know, go with
I was
black.
waiting to see that go black before I started playing.
Exactly. And then he says, because it came on instantly. You know, I said, well, he had it cued in, and he said, I never would have thought of that. You know, and I said, it's creative, it's good. We love to see creativity.
We even had rolling credits at the end. So
For your credits, you just put the tape in the camera and boom.
Okay, now did the credits roll over the scene that was also here? Did you also have a camera?
No,
you just had black with rolling?
Because when I go to the end screen, it goes back to the turning world. Yeah, and it just says thank you for viewing. It gives the telephone number. And
okay, and then it went black, and you had rolling credits.
And had rolling credits. Yeah.
Wonder if you could have brought the feed from that was on a tape.
I made my announcement,
right?
so
Okay.
I've got things to do.
And I ran what's his name off. I guess he did take a cup with him, so he's drinking tea. Maybe he's happy. I hope.
Is that Raven?
Raven, yeah.
Okay.
Raven's a good guy.
Yeah.
We like Raven.
Well, he's sitting out there talking with Jonathan, so
Right.
I'm sure he's.
Tell him to come back.
See, we got our tea party spreads out. Sometimes we try to group them all up in here and get them on camera.
It's like herding
a board
cats.
meeting out there, so you should try and like rope some people
Well,
in there.
go grab us some board members and drag them in here.
I got a question for you.
Okay, we got.
You're doing busy stuff, but I'll just announce that you're extending an invitation.
Tell them if they want a cup of tea. Go ahead.
The little plug that we plug our video into, will that always be in this room, or does that belong to you or something? Okay, so because I was trying to find one, and there's not a store in Asheville that has one of them things, and I don't even know what you'd call it to look it up online.
That thing that goes
It's
from the
a
camera?
BNC to RCA.
To RCA, isn't it? That's what I thought.
And I can usually reach in my pocket and pull some out. Now I don't know if I can right now, because I've been doing it for a while around here. That one might have got pulled out, but it's like
There should be on the Price is Right.
This is what a mad scientist carries in his
This has
pockets.
been one of the most useful screwdrivers I have ever used. Pull that out; it's double-ended.
This is Velcro.
That's saved a lot of time.
Let's see what we got.
A nice.
Look at there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that.
So, okay.
So, can I
handy
just get that at the,
little tool.
you know, okay, because I looked
You
and
can
didn't see
try.
one, but
Yeah. But I order them. Basically, have you ever heard of the Shelby Ham Fest? Do you know what Ham Fest?
I do know what
Have you
Ham
been to
Fest
Shelby
is.
Ham
I've been,
Fest?
not to the Shelby, I've been to a ham fest, though. My dad's a big ham radio operator.
Now look, see, here's like you needed one of those yesterday. There's, the kind of things you
Tape
need.
measure. Mad scientist has a tape measure in his pocket.
And this right here is 3 Phillips and 3 straight edges that pop in and out of that thing.
Imagine that.
and then there's this, what have you. And this even has a little flashlight on it. So.
Permanent marker pen.
Yeah. And straight razor.
Lots of Velcro. Lots of Velcro.
Those are wire ties.
Those are wire
Wires.
ties.
Yes, yes, I know.
I had them all over
No,
the place last
I
night.
have them.
I'm
Plenty
going to
of
have to get
wire ties.
another one of these. I've messed it up in my pocket. Forgive me. This says, sleep is for the weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't believe that anymore because now he's found out that he can sleep again.
I know.
So,
I know, and I'm so happy to do so. Yep. So there we have it. And I guess I should give you my telephone number. Have I ever given you my
No, you
telephone
haven't.
number? Well,
and a pick.
You play the guitar?
Yes and no. Mostly no. However, when I do bang on guitars, I don't use picks. Those are for other people. I used to carry also for instance. See, there's more to it than that. I don't play drums either, but this is the drum key. See what I mean? So but if you're going to record a lot of music, sometimes you're better off if you can lay your hands on a drum key, so you can get the drums tuned up. You're better off if you can lay your hand on a pick, because you can get a pick in the guitar player's hand. Sometimes it's good if you can reach in your back pocket and pull out a whole new set of strings too, which I can't right now. But I'm going to have to pour this out because I'll tell you what has happened. I have dumped pocket trash into my tea.
Dear.
Oh no! Somebody brought a keyboard in here. I see.
They did.
Yes, it's Joe's.
Did anybody play it?
I'm sure he's out there.
He's out there at the board meeting.
He's out there with the what shall we call them? The people who have abandoned us and they've gone over to the other side. The traitors who they're out having the out in the party tea, out in the hall tea party where it's not us. You know what I mean?
You can't play more than 2 notes at the same time.
They're too little. They're too little to play that.
Well, it won't play them. It stopped.
I'd play Bach Staccato and Fugue in D minor on it, but it's too little. Hey there, we're bumping your show.
Oh, you're bumping my. Oh, right.
At the moment, yeah, I think.
That's horrible.
Isn't that terrible?
Maybe not yet, but we will in a little bit.
That's okay.
Okay.
It sucks anyway.
Is there
Oh.
I don't care.
You know what I think the best part of it is your cup that says Cinematics. I really like that. Well, that's great. How can I get you to work on our show?
you mean on the tea party?
Mhm.
Here on Thursday and Friday? It's all a time issue for me. It's
What do you do? What is your life about? You have a son, 12 years old.
I
you
have
say.
a son, 12
He has
years
a
old.
business
and I have
in
a son,
Atlanta.
14 years old. Well, that kind of runs itself. I have people down there running that for me, and so what I do from my house. I don't have an office. I don't have employees up here.
You're a service provider.
So I just
Internet service
I am
provider?
a service provider and a website designer, and
Do you know the guy that runs Tell South? Do you know what that is?
I know what that is. Yeah, I don't know the guy, but I know what that is. But so basically, my day consists of spending a few hours making sure that everything's up and running and correct, and making sure that because I do most of the, if not all of the support tickets, I answer myself personally. The members, I have 798 members and growing, and they don't know that I'm answering it personally because I use a fictitious name. Because I tried letting them know it was me once 4 years ago, and
It got to be too
it
much.
was too much because they knew I was the owner at that point. And so,
So now you're just like an employee.
I'm just like an employee, and I've fired myself before because I got rude with a person once, and they wanted to talk to the supervisor, and so I fired myself and became somebody else to appease them. But anyway,
Did you cry when you got fired?
I did. I told my wife, I said, I'm unemployed now, but she got a big kick out of that. But so my day consists of that, and so basically, honestly, in all honesty, I work about 3 hours a day, overtime. But most of my time spent with my children. We homeschool their children. I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, and my wife, and we spend a lot of time together. We like to go on vacations and stuff, and I go out with the boys and play basketball and things like that. And most of my day today has been spent buying chemicals to open up the swimming pool. So and putting chemicals in it. So when I get home tonight, I got to put more chemicals in.
You got it pretty well made.
But,
you got.
it's not a bad life
Yeah.
for 4 years. But before that, I was a hard worker, and I decided that I got tired of the rat race, and I told my wife, I said, and she worked at that time, and I said, I'm just going to do it. And boy, we were both scared to death, and it was one of the toughest 4 or 5 months going, and not to be a hard luck story, but we didn't even know what we was going to do for Christmas. I mean, we didn't even have the money for Christmas, basically, with paying our bills because we was living off her salary. And then the following year, that was in 2003. No, that was in 2002. And then the following year, or was it 2003? I can't remember. But anyway, the following year, that January, it started boosting, and that February, it's just like the light switch just turned on, and it's never stopped since. And she's quit work, and she's been at home for 3 years now. It was. But you know, I've been.
We like to see successful people.
Yeah, and I really audio is something I've always done for bands and stuff. And
what bands have you worked with?
Mostly bluegrass, some gospel, and I am part of I don't know if you call me part owner or not. I own some of the equipment in it, but a recording studio out in Leicester, and we record. You know, make the whole CD and everything. And I've always been interested in video.
Now, are you running a little video company? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
Because you have fancy cameras.
Core Brothers Productions, and I've started that 2 years ago because I was able to, you know, be able to afford it and start building up to it. And I've built up some clientele since then and do a few infomercials and commercials and things like that. And I'm getting ready to start a shoot with a local karate company, and going to make some internal videos for them. And then you know, I got hooked up with Don, and the rest is history. We started the show, or he started the show. I should say that's how I got hooked up with him. I seen him that first Wednesday night.
It's going well, and I am pleased. I am really pleased with the way it's going, and that we're getting good response. I hope he's pleased with it. I hope he doesn't mind too bad being shoved into this little room.
I don't think any of us mind. We just need to do something with the air, and that's about it. And I think I can solve that.
Sometimes the tea party gets unbearable in here.
I think we can solve that.
And I make people wear lab coats and stuff, you know, and we're just sweating.
Yeah, even if we wired up a couple of ceiling fans or something.
I don't know, as you know, when it warms up, when summer gets here.